Right, we know that the prices of diesel are extremely high at the moment, and the idea was that we wanted to reduce the cost of traveling, of driving, of transport, and we thought that we can start production of our own biodiesel, and of course we started to do it a year ago, but we failed, and eventually after amounts of researches we decided to produce our own biodiesel, which is quite cheap, of course, and it's half price, or if you can buy even cheaper used vegetable oil, even it's less than half price. And comparing the price of the garages prices, and it's absolutely legal. You can produce up to 2,500 liters a year without paying any taxes on it, any taxes on the top of it. Right, I'm going to explain it, how to use it, how to do it, how to produce the biodiesel. Basically, what we've got here, that big white tank here, it's a tank, it's a main reactor tank, it's a main processor, where we pour inside the tank, 100 liters of used cooking oil. Then we mix that with 20 liters of methanol. Methanol we keep one of those plastic containers. I'll show you later, we've got a few of them outside. You need to be extremely careful, because methanol is very dangerous. It's extremely flammable and really poisoning. Only 30 grams of methanol can kill an adult man. So basically you need to wear your protective gloves, protecting clothing and mask. And methanol evaporates at a temperature of 65. Right, so what we're doing, 100 liters of used cooking oil, we're mixing methanol in one of those drums. You just pour 20 liters of methanol inside, and we mix that up with that mixer. We attach one of those screwdrivers, quite straightforward thing, and we mix that for about a minute with potassium hydroxide, flakes of potassium hydroxide. Of course, before you need to do a titration. I'm not going to tell you about details how to do titration. It's quite straightforward. You can purchase titration kit on eBay and a scale as well. It's quite straightforward. Usually it's about 900 grams per 20 liters of methanol, and you mix that all together with 80 liters of used cooking oil. Of course, before you pour your methanol mix with a potassium hydroxide, you need to warm your cooking oil up to temperature of about 50 Celsius degrees with that heating element. That's, you see? Of course there is nothing inside, so I need to be extremely careful. What is very important, you mustn't overheat those tanks. You mustn't overheat those tanks, because, as I said earlier, methanol evaporates at the temperature of 65, and it's extremely dangerous. It can kill. Right, so basically when we pour inside, we put the lid on the top, one of those lids, tight it all together, and switch the pump. We've got a very simple pump we purchased on eBay as well. You turn the pump up, open the valve, and the fluid is mixing. It goes through that pipe inside and comes down to the pump, and it takes about 45 up to 1 hour mixing process. That pump can mix up to 70 liters a minute, so it's quite good. Basically, after we finish mixing, we do not open that, then we start to warm it again, and we can process the methanol back. So we try to warm it to temperature above 65, then methanol evaporates, goes through that pipe straight outside to the tank, and we can process up to 5 liters per one batch of pure methanol, what can be used again for another reaction. Right, so after we've done this, we process the methanol. Of course we don't have to do that. Then we need to turn the immersion heater off, turn the heating element off, and leave it to settle, and the glycerin will settle on the bottom of that tank, and we should have about 25 liters of glycerin. Of course, that glycerin is still highly contaminated with some traces of methanol, so I wouldn't rather use it. You mustn't throw it to the bin, you need to give it to the special points of collection. Right, next step is we need to wash. There are two approaches. One approach is the water wash, so basically you pour water to your tank, mix it, wait it, water will settle on the bottom, get rid of the water, of course some trace of glycerin as well. Or another approach is the approach we're doing, is a dry tower media, dry wash. So basically we pump the biodiesel that's still not clarified, not purified biodiesel in the tank and the bath, and that tank, that biodiesel goes through, that has been disconnected because we are in the process of changing EcoPO2 which is inside, and that drains through that tower, through that filter to that tank and purifies. Right, let me open the tank for you. You've got some biodiesel here inside. Then it takes about 24 hours to drain about 80 liters of 85 up to 95 liters of biodiesel. Then we pump through another pump through that filter. It's extremely good quality filter, American filter, and that filter separates any water and any particles like bips and bops, you know, you can still have in a process. And then we, through that filter, goes through the pipe. There's a valve, you can stick it into your car and refuel your car. Right, I'm going to show you now where we keep the methanol. Methanol we keep in those plastic containers because it's flammable, so it's much safer. And I'm going to show you where we keep the cooking oil, used cooking oil. We collect from the restaurants, from fish and chip shops and places like that, so we've got it. And majority in those containers is quite thick, looks like lard, or you can have a runny one as well. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and one day you will be enjoying your own production, and all the best. I hope to see you soon sometimes. Thank you.